You may not realize it, but one everyday food you've been eating for years could be quietly damaging your memory day after day without warning. I've seen far too many patients wake up feeling confused, forgetting names, or standing in the kitchen unsure of why they went in there. Most people think it's just part of aging, but the truth isn't that simple. As a neurologist with over 30 years of experience treating Alzheimer's disease, I can tell you this: Alzheimer's doesn't start when you forget someone's name. It starts years earlier when your brain still feels perfectly fine. And one of the biggest silent threats is what you eat every single day. It's not just about genetics. It's not just about age. After 60, your brain becomes much more sensitive to inflammation, sugar spikes, chemical additives, and hidden preservatives in processed food. What you once thought was healthy could now be harming your memory in ways you never imagined. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 of the most dangerous foods for brain health in seniors. Foods you might be eating every week without realizing they increase your risk of memory loss, brain fog, or even Alzheimer's. Please watch until the end because food number 1 is the most harmful, and it's sitting in the kitchens of millions of older adults right now. If you value your memory and want to stay sharp, hit like and subscribe for more trusted brain health tips. And if you're still with me, type 1 in the comments so I know you're here. Number 1, microwave popcorn, the butter that's not butter. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat down with a warm bowl of popcorn to watch a movie or relax in the evening? Now, what if I told you that inside that bag of microwave popcorn is a chemical that can quietly harm your brain without you ever feeling it? That buttery smell isn't butter at all. It's a chemical called diacetyl. And for seniors, especially those over 60, it can be far more dangerous than most people realize. Diacetyl and other artificial flavorings used in many microwave popcorn brands can cross what's called the blood-brain barrier, the protective shield that keeps toxins out of your brain. Once inside, these chemicals can trigger inflammation, contribute to the formation of beta amyloid plaques, and quietly damage the parts of your brain responsible for memory and focus. I once had a patient, Mrs. Evelyn Carter, age 74, a retired school librarian from Illinois. She loved popcorn. Every night she'd pop a bag while watching the evening news. She believed she was making a healthy choice, low in calories, high in fiber. But over time, she began forgetting names, mixing up appointments, even repeating stories. Scans later showed early signs of memory decline. Her lifestyle was clean. She didn't drink or smoke. But one thing stood out: her near daily exposure to diacetyl from microwave popcorn. And that wasn't the only danger. The inside of many popcorn bags is coated with perfluorinated compounds, chemicals used to resist oil and heat. These compounds can build up in the body over time and have been linked to long-term neurological damage. For a senior's brain, already more fragile due to aging, this slow chemical exposure is like dripping water on a stone. It wears down your defenses. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up popcorn forever, but you do need to change how you make it. Air-popped popcorn made on the stove or with a home popcorn maker is a much safer option. You can control what goes in it. No chemicals, no artificial butter, no harmful coatings. Add a sprinkle of olive oil or turmeric, and suddenly your snack becomes a brain-friendly treat. Because here's the truth: small habits add up. What feels like an innocent indulgence, just a little popcorn, might be sending silent toxins straight to your brain. If you're still eating microwave popcorn, especially at night, stop now. Your memory, your clarity, and your independence are worth more than 5 minutes of convenience. And if this surprised you, wait until you hear about the drink many seniors use to stay healthy. But that may be quietly draining your brain of its energy. Let's talk about diet soft drinks next. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. Number 2, Diet soft drinks, sweet lies that confuse your brain. You might think you're making a smart choice. Skipping the sugar, reaching for a diet soda instead. It feels healthier, right? Especially if you're watching your blood sugar or trying to avoid diabetes. But what if I told you that these diet drinks may be even worse for your brain than regular sodas? The artificial sweeteners used in diet sodas, like aspartame and saccharin, are not just sweet. They are neuroactive chemicals. And in people over 60 whose brains are already more sensitive, these sweeteners can quietly disrupt how your brain works. How? First, they confuse your body. Your brain tastes sweetness, but no sugar arrives. This mismatch can cause your insulin system to misfire, leading to insulin resistance, a dangerous condition for both blood vessels and the brain. Over time, this disrupts glucose metabolism in the brain, which is critical for memory and cognition. Second, artificial sweeteners increase inflammation inside the brain. One major study found that seniors who drank just one diet soda a day were nearly 3 times more likely to develop dementia than those who didn't drink any. Let me tell you about Mr. Singh. Donald Blake, 79, a retired math teacher from New Jersey. He never drank sugary sodas but had 2 cans of diet soda every day with lunch. Over the years, his wife noticed subtle changes. He repeated stories, got lost in familiar places. A brain scan later revealed early Alzheimer's changes. His blood sugar was normal, but his insulin resistance and brain inflammation told a different story. So, what can you drink instead? Start with filtered water, herbal teas, or fruit-infused water with mint or lemon. If you like fizz, try sparkling water with natural flavors. Just make sure it's free from artificial sweeteners. And remember, just because it says diet doesn't mean it's healthy. For your brain, these drinks can be silent thieves, robbing you of clarity, focus, and memory with every sip. If this hit home, drop a 1 in the comments. And if you think you're making the healthy choice with margarine instead of butter, just wait until you hear what it's doing to your brain. Number 3, margarine and hydrogenated oils, the healthy fat that's harming your brain. For decades, margarine was advertised as the smarter, heart-healthy alternative to butter. No cholesterol, lighter taste. It sounded like the perfect solution for aging hearts. But here's what they never told you. Margarine is one of the most dangerous products for brain health, especially after age 60. Why? Because margarine and many processed foods like coffee creamers, frozen pastries, and crackers contain hydrogenated oils, better known as trans fats. These artificial fats are made in factories and are nearly impossible for your body to process properly. What happens when they enter your bloodstream? They trigger inflammation in your blood vessels, especially those that lead to the brain. This inflammation reduces blood flow to critical brain areas like the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. Over time, trans fats contribute to the buildup of sticky plaques in the brain, which are strongly linked to Alzheimer's disease. I remember a patient, Mrs. Ruth Adams, 81, a retired nurse from Michigan. She prided herself on cooking heart-healthy meals, low salt, no butter, always margarine. But over the years, her memory started fading. She had trouble recalling names, repeating herself, and misplacing everyday items. Her scans showed signs of vascular inflammation and reduced brain perfusion, classic markers of trans fat damage. The problem is, many seniors still trust margarine because they've been told for decades that it's better than butter. But science has moved on. We now know that natural fats like olive oil, avocado oil, and even small amounts of real butter support your brain far better than anything hydrogenated. So here's what I tell my patients. Read every label. If it says partially hydrogenated oil, don't buy it. If you've been using margarine, it's time to switch. A simple change can reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and protect your memory because your brain doesn't need fat-free. It needs the right kind of fat, nourishing, natural, and supportive. And if you think trans fats are bad, wait until you hear what processed meats are doing to your brain. That's next. If you're still with me, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're here. Number 4, processed meats. A silent attack on your memory. Cold cuts, hot dogs, bacon, sausage. These are staples in many American households. They're quick, easy, and familiar. But for seniors, they may be quietly damaging the brain every single day. Processed meats are preserved using chemicals like nitrates and nitrites. These substances help meats stay fresh and keep their pink color. But when they break down in your body, they form dangerous compounds called nitrosamines. And nitrosamines are known to cause inflammation and oxidative stress in brain cells, reducing blood flow and triggering the buildup of toxic proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. One of my patients, Mr. Gerald Brown, MOG6, a retired bus driver from Alabama, loved his morning bacon and deli turkey sandwich for lunch. It's quick and keeps me going, he said. But over time, his family noticed a change. He was forgetting common words, repeating himself, and getting irritated easily. His brain scans later showed small vessel damage and signs of early cognitive decline. His diet was the major factor. Processed meats are also loaded with saturated fat and sodium, a dangerous combination for aging arteries. High sodium raises blood pressure, and saturated fat thickens vessel walls, both reducing the oxygen your brain needs to think clearly. If you eat deli meat several times a week, your brain may already be suffering, even if you feel fine today. So what should you eat instead? Try grilled or baked chicken, salmon, beans, or lentils. Season with herbs, olive oil, and lemon for flavor. No chemicals required. Your brain thrives on clean blood flow and low inflammation. Removing processed meats is one of the most powerful steps you can take today to protect your memory tomorrow. And if this shocked you, wait until you hear what refined sugar is doing inside the aging brain. That's coming next. Still with me? Type 1 in the comments if you're finding this helpful. Number 5, refined sugar, the number one threat to the aging brain. It's in your morning cereal, it's in your yogurt, it's in sauces, snacks, drinks, and even in foods labeled healthy. Refined sugar is everywhere. And after 60, it becomes the most dangerous substance for your brain. Why? Because sugar doesn't just raise your blood sugar. It sets off a chain reaction that slowly damages the brain's most delicate systems. Let me explain. When you consume refined sugar, especially in large amounts or frequently, it causes spikes in blood glucose. Your body responds by releasing insulin to lower that sugar. But over time, this repeated cycle leads to something called insulin resistance, not just in the body, but in the brain. This condition is now referred to by many neurologists as type 3 diabetes. In this state, the brain can no longer process glucose effectively, and glucose is your brain's primary fuel. When it's blocked, memory, mood, and decision-making all begin to suffer. Refined sugar also feeds harmful bacteria in the gut, disrupting the gut-brain connection, a critical link for emotional balance and cognitive clarity. On brain scans, high-sugar diets are associated with shrinkage in brain volume, especially in areas involved in memory and learning. I had a patient, Mrs. Leona Wells, 68, who believed she had a mild sweet tooth. And she didn't drink soda but loved flavored yogurt, energy bars, and sweet coffee creamers. She didn't realize she was consuming over 60 grams of sugar daily. Within 5 years, she experienced early cognitive decline, despite being active and socially engaged. The good news, sugar is something you can control. Start small. Remove sugary snacks from the house. Replace them with berries, a square of dark chocolate, or a handful of walnuts. Read labels. Avoid low-fat products that are often packed with hidden sugars. And if you're serious about protecting your memory,
refined sugar must be the first thing to go. Because while sweet things can bring comfort, too much sweetness can steal your future. Coming up next, a final summary of these 5 foods and how just a few small changes can protect your brain for years to come. If this spoke to you, comment 1 below to let me know you're here. Number 6. White bread and refined carbs, the hidden sugar damaging your brain.
You don't think of bread as sweet, but when you eat a slice of white bread, your body reacts the same way it would to a spoonful of sugar. That's because refined carbohydrates, like white bread, white rice, and most breakfast cereals, break down very quickly into glucose, causing rapid spikes in blood sugar. And for seniors, these spikes can be especially dangerous. When blood sugar rises and falls sharply, the brain experiences a kind of shock. These repeated spikes and crashes lead to insulin resistance, inflammation, and impaired blood flow, creating the perfect storm for memory loss and cognitive decline. I once treated Mr. Carl Jenkins, 73, a retired shop owner from Nevada. Every morning, he had toast with jam, followed by cereal and orange juice. "It's what I've always eaten," he told me. But despite being active and sociable, he started forgetting directions, mixing up names, and feeling mentally foggy by mid-morning. The culprit? A carb-heavy breakfast that overloaded his brain with glucose too quickly. Brain scans in seniors with high refined carb intake often show atrophy in memory-related areas of the brain. Some researchers now believe refined carbs can accelerate Alzheimer's by disrupting glucose metabolism in neurons. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up carbs. Just choose better ones. Swap white bread for whole grain or sprouted grain bread. Replace sugary cereals with steel-cut oats or chia pudding. Use sweet potatoes or quinoa instead of white rice. These complex carbs break down more slowly, keeping blood sugar stable and providing a steady fuel source for your brain. Because when it comes to memory, it's not just what you forget, it's what you eat. Coming up, let's talk about alcohol. Even a little may be harming your brain more than you think. Number 7, alcohol. Even a little can shrink your brain. We've all heard the saying, "A little wine is good for the heart." And for years, doctors, even myself, told patients that moderate drinking might be harmless. But science has changed, and so must we. Because recent research shows that even low levels of alcohol can shrink the brain, especially in older adults. Just 1 or 2 drinks per day over time may accelerate cognitive decline, especially in areas responsible for memory and emotional control. Alcohol is a neurotoxin. It damages brain cells, disrupts sleep patterns, and increases levels of cortisol, your stress hormone. In seniors, the body processes alcohol more slowly, making its effects last longer and hit harder. I once treated Mr. Harold Eaton, 74, a retired piano teacher from Oregon. He drank a glass of red wine every evening, nothing more. He was sharp, cultured, and witty. But gradually, his short-term memory began to fade. He lost interest in music, became withdrawn, and struggled with word recall. His MRI showed subtle atrophy in the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. His liver was healthy, his diet was fine, but his brain? It had slowly absorbed the impact of years of moderate drinking. Now, does this mean you can never enjoy a drink again? Not necessarily, but it does mean that if you value your memory, you must drink with awareness. If you drink daily, consider cutting back to a few times per week, or replacing your evening drink with something calming, like chamomile tea, tart cherry juice, or even a glass of sparkling water with lemon. Because your brain is not trying to ruin your fun, it's just asking you to protect it. Coming up next, let's take a look at deep-fried foods, one of the most overlooked threats to brain health in seniors. If this resonates with you, Drop a 1 in the comments and keep going with me. Number 8, deep fried foods. How crunchy turns dangerous after 60. Who doesn't love something crispy? Fried chicken, golden fries, onion rings. These foods bring back memories, picnics, family gatherings, Sunday dinners.
But after 60, the way your body and brain respond to fried food changes dramatically. Here's why. Deep fried foods are often cooked in reused oxidized oils that break down into harmful chemicals when heated repeatedly. These include advanced glycation end products, AGEs, and acrylamide, compounds linked to oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain. This damage isn't instant. It's slow, quiet erosion, especially dangerous for aging neurons. One of my patients, Ms. Dottie Spencer, 69, from Kentucky, loved making fried okra and catfish for her grandkids. She said, "It's how I show love." But over time, she began struggling with focus, repeating herself, and losing track of time. Her diet was the only major risk factor. Once she reduced fried foods, added more greens and fish, her clarity and energy slowly returned. Fried foods also often contain trans fats, already proven to shrink memory centers. And they're high in sodium, which raises blood pressure and restricts blood flow to the brain, something we've talked about already. What can you do? Start with one swap. Instead of deep frying, try baking, air frying, or grilling. Marinate vegetables in olive oil and herbs. Use a small countertop air fryer. Add turmeric, rosemary, or garlic for brain-boosting flavor without the toxic oil. Because after 60, your brain doesn't recover as easily. Every bite matters. And if you thought fried food was bad, just wait until we uncover the hidden chemicals in food dyes and preservatives. Coming next. If you're still with me, drop a 1 in the comments below to show you care about your brain. Number 9. Artificial food dyes and preservatives. The invisible enemies of a clear mind. They're not on your plate. They're in your food. Bright red in your gelatin dessert. Yellow in your mustard. A long, unreadable name on the label of a packaged snack.
Artificial food dyes and chemical preservatives may seem small and harmless, but their impact on your brain is anything but. Let's start with food dyes. Red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1 are synthetic chemicals used to make food look vibrant, but studies show they can disrupt neurotransmitter function, especially in the aging brain. Some researchers link these dyes to increased inflammation, poor memory, and even mood swings in seniors. Then there are preservatives like BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, and BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, added to cereals, crackers, chips, and snack bars to keep them fresh. These compounds have been found to accumulate in brain tissue, possibly interfering with cell signaling and memory encoding. One patient of mine, Mrs. Evelyn Lang, 72, had been eating low-fat, healthy packaged snacks every afternoon. She thought she was doing the right thing, but her energy crashed by 3 p.m. each day, and she felt mentally fuzzy.
When we looked closer, her diet was full of artificial colors and preservatives. Within weeks of switching to fresh foods, her energy and focus returned. So what can you do? Start reading labels. Avoid products with long ingredient lists you can't pronounce. Stick to fresh whole foods. If you must buy packaged, look for no artificial colors or preservatives on the label, because your brain wasn't designed for chemicals, it was designed for nourishment. Coming up, in our final segment, we'll reflect on everything we've covered and what small steps you can take starting today to protect your most precious organ. If you're still watching, comment 1 below. And get ready for the conclusion. It might just change how you shop and eat forever. So let's take a deep breath and reflect. We've walked through 9 common foods that may seem harmless, even comforting, but in truth, they're quietly interfering with the most precious part of your body, your brain. From microwave popcorn to refined sugar, from margarine to artificial dyes, each of these has one thing in common. They create inflammation, disrupt blood flow, and exhaust the brain's delicate systems. And after 60, your brain doesn't bounce back the way it used to. Every food choice becomes more important. Every small shift becomes powerful. But here's the good news. Your brain can heal. Not overnight, not magically, but gently, gradually, with small daily choices. Start by removing one harmful item from your pantry. Add one brain-nourishing habit each week. Drink more water. Take a short walk in the morning light. Get restful sleep. Surround yourself with music, nature, and the people who lift your spirit. Because aging is not about decline, it's about awareness.
It's the chance to live with more intention, more clarity, and more peace. And if today's video spoke to you, here's what I want you to do. Comment 1 below if you learned something useful. Subscribe so you never miss a chance to protect your brain. And most importantly, if you're over 60, I'd love for you to watch my next video. It reveals a simple 40-second habit that can reduce your stroke risk instantly. No pills, no equipment, just one natural action that could protect your brain and your independence. It's called Over 60. This 40-second trick lowers stroke risk instantly. I'll meet you there. Take care of your brain, and it will take care of you.